Hey everybody, I just want to go ahead and tell you that 2025 has been that year, okay? First of all, I went into this year not really knowing what God was going to do. I had a few prayer requests and I knew that God was transitioning me. I knew that He was sending me in a different direction. I just didn't know what that direction would be. So when I ended 2024, I was just like, God, what is next? What are we doing? And all I kept hearing the Lord say was wait. I just kept feeling like I need to wait on the Lord. Like, I don't need to be doing nothing else. And I could have spent this whole entire time dropping worship songs and all the things alike. But it's like, I literally kept feeling like there was this restraint in the spirit. And God was saying, no, just stand still and wait on me. And so that's what I did. And as I was waiting on the Lord, things began to resurface in my heart, things that I thought I had processed, pain that I thought that I had dealt with, just all these things that I'm just like, where's all of this coming from, God? Like, why right now must you bring these things back up? And I realized that I was living between a tension of where God was sending me next and the word that He had for me, and then what He wanted to do in the in-between time. And that's the reason that I've been sharing a lot about waiting on the Lord, because I think sometimes we think that where we are going is going to be better than the wait, but both of them are holy and good. And I'm going to keep saying that. The wait is just as good as the promise fulfilled. But sometimes what happens is we develop a level of animosity towards God while we're waiting on Him, because we're just like, well, what's taking so long? Why can't you give me all the answers right now? Why can't you tell me what's going on right now? And God is just like, I understand that you want answers, but I'm at work to do something in your heart. And that's more what He cares about. And so I recognize that I have been in a time and season of waiting intentionally on the Lord. It hasn't been passive. God's been doing work on my physical body. He's been doing work on my mind. He's been doing work on all the things. And I'm telling you, I am the freest that I have ever been in my entire life. But I'm so glad that I was patient, which is a fruit of the Spirit, enough to wait on the Lord to do what He desired to do. Because had I just been like, all right, well, here's my ambition and this is what I want to do, I would have missed out on so many of the things that God was able to do for the past 6 months. Most people would think, okay, you started this YouTube channel and we got here, we landed here through Jesus, and that's through worship, through song, and we want more songs and all the things. But here's the truth is I don't move on human beings' timeline. I move on the Lord's. And just because I started out doing that doesn't mean that that is the end all be all there is to my calling and what God has called me to do. And for a while I was very boxed in, because I'm just like, God, but if I move in this direction, there's a lot of things that I don't understand how to do, and I need you to teach me. I need you to send someone to teach me. I need to be led. I really want to be sure that you're calling me to go in this direction. And so December, I received a prophetic word about pastoring, and I have ran from that calling. Not gonna lie, I ran because one, I used to not like people like that, if I'm being honest. And I also allowed my introverted tendencies to hinder me from fully walking in that calling, because I'm a person who I withdraw often to spend time with the Lord. And when I have nothing to say, when God isn't telling me to speak, I disappear. And that's just how I've always been. But what I'm recognizing is that where God is taking me and what He's calling me to do in this season, I can no longer sit back on the wayside and keep my mouth closed and be quiet. And it's just not going to work in this season. So if I want to fully obey God, I got to get out of my comfort zone with not really wanting to be out here like that. And the truth is, when I was in the world and I was doing worldly things and I was very compromised, I had no problem being in front of people and strutting my stuff so I could be seen. I had no issue. But for some reason, in this transition, I was like, God, I really don't want to be out here. Because I recognize the weight that this comes with, and I understand the responsibility. And I know that you have trained and equipped me for this, but I'm not like, I don't know if I like it. And so I gave God my reasons why I was not going to do it. I told him no. I said, find somebody else, because I really don't want to. I don't feel like I have to either. Like, I really was just going back and forth, arguing with God about it, because I'm just like, no, like, my past is too messy. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've done things I'm not proud of. I've engaged in things that I'm not proud of. I don't think I'm qualified. Like, this, and I just kept giving God reasons. And so for a while, God let me settle in those reasons. But then this year, when I had no other choice but to be still because of some other things that were happening, the Lord brought it back up again. And I'm just like, okay, I'm submitting to you with this. Because obviously, like, you've called me to it, and you know that I'm equipped. And for whatever reason that I don't feel qualified, you see that I am. And this is one function that I feel like I'm not fully capable enough to do with just being gifted. Because it requires my study life to be disciplined. It requires me to be strategic about things even more than I ever have been in my life. And it requires me to go deeper in the things of God. And I recognize that it's for such a time as this. I know that on the other side of my yes is going to be fruit to be bared. And so, like, it requires another level of vulnerability. It requires another level of accountability. It requires another level of me being present. And I'm honoring the Lord in that space. You're still hanging out with me here on this channel. Thank you for continuing to hang out and be here and receive from what the Lord gives me to share. I think that sometimes we just need to count the cost, and not count the cost in the sense of finding reasons to give God a no, but counting the cost to really make sure that we understand the sacrifice and the weight of the responsibility that comes with things, so that we're careful with our words, so that we're careful with how we treat people, so that we're careful with boundaries, so that we're careful with all of these things. And so I'm so excited for this journey. I'm so excited for this chapter. I'm so excited for the experience. I'm looking forward to it. No, I don't expect it to be easy. I expect there to be opposition. I expect there to be comments and things shared about my reputation and all the things. I expect it. That's water under the bridge to me. And it's like, I can't afford to have time to care about what people are going to think about me and try to obey God. And I think that's what hinders us sometimes from saying yes, because we keep counting the cost with the Lord, fasting, praying, making sure we heard God and getting direction. And then we go right back into the mindset of caring about what people are going to think about us. And I'm officially Pastor Sandy Edwards in the Lord, okay? And I am so excited for September. It is going to be an amazing time in God, in God, in God, in God, in God. So go ahead and check out the links that are in the description of this video. And it's my birthday, okay? So 31 years, the Lord's been faithful, and your girl is almost back.